Hey traders, welcome back to the FXE YouTube channel. We had a little unexpected price action yesterday, and so far today I've mainly been watching the charts to give me some ideas. And just now we got a little more clarity. So for today's video, I'll quickly go through some of the recent price action and then give some trade ideas for today. But first, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. So quickly on the fundamentals, we just had UK retail sales. It all came in weak, so this could trigger some strength in the dollar, at least for London session. And for the rest of the day, we have the Euro CPI coming in a little later during London session, as well as a bunch of speeches throughout the day. Now, if we go to the charts, I'm going to start with the yields. So you can see yields have come back down. So yesterday we had a drive down. And then today, so far, it's just pulling back. So eventually, I'd like to see it come a little lower. But I'm wondering today if we'll have another pullback before doing so. Okay, moving on to DXY. So I'm going to focus mainly on the hourly and the lower time frames. So when I posted the video yesterday, it was somewhere in this area. So I was expecting pullbacks for price to continue to the upside. So my expectation was sweeping of this low and then DXY coming down, manipulating that area and then reversing and continuing to the upside. So initially we got that set up. So I was short on EU at the time, but then we started to play around right before New York opened. And then when news came around, we had that massive manipulation to the downside. So obviously, I didn't get the profits I was hoping for, but I did close my trade at a reasonable amount. It was a little over 1 hour. So all in all, I mean, it was a profitable day. But the price action did catch me a little off guard. So when it did pull back, I actually entered a long, and then once the high went, I think I took most of my profits out. And at that point, I honestly thought that EU was going to continue to the upside, but then it, you can see on DXY it reversed, and at this point I started questioning whether it was going to continue to the upside or if it's just manipulation. So DXY did continue up further, coming into the supply, and at this point I wasn't thinking that this was manipulation. Well, I was thinking it was manipulation, but there was nothing giving any confirmation of that except for a second break. So I was just watching price action today just to get an idea of what it wants to do. So now that we got another break, I'm more confident now that it's going to continue to the upside. So what I'll be looking for today, if I go on the lower time frames, so I want to see first off if we get a test of this imbalance. So I'd like to see this imbalance be cleared and then price to come back down to the 15-minute demand level and see if we get a reversal from there. So that's the first area I'll be watching. And then the second area I'll be watching is to see if we can sweep the lows. So this internal liquidity right here, I would like to see if we can sweep that, come into the demand just below, and after see if we get a reversal to drive DXY higher. There is unmitigated demand even lower, but if it comes this low, I don't think I'll be considering longs at that point. Maybe depending on price action, but I probably won't trade it. These two areas are the key areas that I'll be watching for reversals, and if we do get reversals, I will trade it. Okay, now moving on to EU, again focusing on the hourly and the lower time frames. So yesterday my expectation was sweep of internal liquidity and thereafter reverse and push the price down. So as you can see, played out, well, at least the entry played out, but the price didn't go and break the lows and continue lower at this point. So when New York came around, we started to have a little consolidation, and then when we had the news, we had a massive manipulation to the upside. So I got out of the shorts when it was consolidating. Actually, there was a 5-minute shift, and at that point I got out of the trade. And then when price drove to the upside, I just assumed it was going to continue higher. I entered somewhere around here on this pullback when it was clearing the inefficiency, and took my trade off, I believe around 80% at the highs. And then after, it came right back down, which was for me completely unexpected. I mean, thinking about the fundamentals and where we are in price, I was thinking, okay, now it's just gonna drive and continue to the upside. But as it did come back down, did a lot of consolidation, broke the range lows late last night, had more consolidation, and now we had another break of the lows, or the range lows. So this for me is my confirmation, and now I want to look for shorts. But I don't want to FOMO and just jump into a trade here, especially when we have London Open. There's some areas that I'm going to be watching to see if we get some pullbacks before entering sells. Oh, and I marked this as a UTAD because when I saw the aggressive moves to the downside, I was just thinking this kind of looks like a Wyckoff. Doesn't match it to the extent that I would like to see, but the fact that we had that last manipulation before driving down makes me think this is probably a Wyckoff schematic, and now it's gonna just go to the downside. So before doing so, I'm hoping we get a pullback, somewhat of a test, before continuing further to the downside. So if I go on the 15-minute time frame, so the key areas I'll be watching for is we have this inefficiency, so this imbalance right here. So I would like to see price come back to that at a minimum, and if it does, I'll probably be watching this supply right here for entries. Oops, sorry. So in this scenario, from the current price, see if we get a pullback coming into the fair value gap, tapping into the supply, and thereafter continuation to the downside. And then the other second scenario I'll be watching is to see if we get a deeper pullback, sweep the equal highs. So you can see there's a lot of equal highs in this area, and that's the reason why I think it may come back for a bigger pullback, coming into the supply above and thereafter reversing and coming back down. And obviously if it does come back down, I will be expecting a break of this low and potentially coming in to the lower unmitigated fair value gap. So just to sum up, when I saw EU breaking down, I wanted to post a quick video with some trade ideas. For now, looking for lower pricing on EU to close off the week. Just hope we get a pullback first. Anyways, that's it for today's update. Hopefully you guys found some value in today's video. And if you did, a like and a subscribe would be appreciated. Good luck trading today, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.
Black Swan.